Jazzcast Pros.
Today, I want to address one of the most important, yet often ignored pillars of mental health: sleep. Let's be honest, no matter how many tools or strategies you use to manage your stress, your anxiety, or depression, if you're not sleeping well, none of those strategies are going to work as effectively as they should. Sleep is the foundation for good mental health, and if you're not paying attention to it, you're neglecting a key element of what really matters. And with World Mental Health Day right around the corner on October 10th, this year's theme, Mental Health at Work, is more relevant than ever. The World Health Organization is emphasizing the connection between mental health and the workplace, reminding us that a safe, healthy work environment can protect mental health. But when work conditions are toxic, like dealing with stigma, harassment, or burnout, it's just not your mental health that suffers. Your overall quality of life is at risk as well. And this is where sleep comes in. You can have all the mental health resources at your job, but if you're not sleeping well, it's going to be hard to thrive, whether at work or in life. And that's why it's so important to push for a better understanding of the connection between mental health and sleep, not just in your personal life, but in the workplace as well. Join me to understand why sleep plays a foundational role in mental health and why it should be a top priority in every wellness and mental health initiative. Hello, welcome back to the Doze Podcast, where we dive into all things sleep, health, and wellness. I'm your host, Soda Kuczkowski, and today I want us to dig into a topic that in reality needs way more attention: your sleep and mental health. Let's be real, as women, we wear a lot of hats. I know I do. We're juggling work, family, relationships, and a million other responsibilities all at once. And while we talk about ways to actively manage our stress, mitigate anxiety or depression, if we're not sleeping well, none of these strategies are going to work as effectively as they should. Sleep is the foundation for good mental health. And if you're not paying attention to it, you're neglecting a key element of what truly matters. You know, as women, we need to understand that prioritizing sleep isn't selfish, it's essential. So we need to create a space where we can acknowledge that everything isn't fine and that you don't have to suffer or feel alone in your struggles. In order to feel better and to fix it, you have to acknowledge that an issue exists and that it isn't something to brush aside. So today, I want to dive into why sleep is so crucial to our mental health and well-being and how it can literally change how you show up in every area of your life. We've all had those days where you didn't sleep enough, and as a result, you might be snapping at people for no reason or feeling overwhelmed by the simplest things, right? You wake up exhausted and suddenly the smallest thing is setting you off. That's because sleep plays a huge role in stabilizing your mood. And without enough sleep, you're more sensitive to stress, anxiety, and emotional highs and lows. So in short, poor sleep makes you more irritable, anxious, and a more negative person. And here's the bottom line. Poor sleep puts your body into overdrive, increasing your stress levels by elevating cortisol, your body's primary stress hormone. So if you're already dealing with anxiety or stress in your life, lack of sleep is like pouring gasoline on the fire. The connection is undeniable. Your ability to regulate your emotions and handle life's challenges hinges on your sleep. And for women, this can feel especially overwhelming because we're often the ones holding everything together. But remember, you can't pour from an empty cup, as they say, right? Prioritizing sleep is essential for keeping your emotional health in check. Take for instance, so many women struggle with depression or anxiety and end up on medication because, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed or exhausted or emotionally drained. And while medication can absolutely help in some instances, sometimes the root issue of it is sleep or lack of it. Take this example. You're dealing with chronic insomnia, right? It's been ongoing for a while. You're up late, you're tossing and you're turning, and by morning, you're just emotionally spent. And over time, this starts to look like depression. You start feeling hopeless or moody, disconnected, and your doctor might prescribe antidepressants. But here's the thing. What if improving your sleep can help relieve those symptoms without the side effects that often come with medication? Simple sleep habits like sticking to a regular sleep routine, cutting back on caffeine, and creating that calm, relaxing space before bed can dramatically improve your mood and your emotional health. And the best part is there are no side effects like the weight gain, fatigue, or nausea that often comes with a lot of those medications. So before jumping straight into taking anything, consider the role that sleep could play in improving your mental health. It could be the natural solution that your body is craving. I mean, we all know that feeling of brain fog, right? You're trying to stay on top of everything you need to do, from work deadlines, your kids' schedules, managing your household, but your brain is running on empty. Lack of sleep doesn't just affect your mood, it also drains our ability to focus and to make decisions and to think clearly. And as women, we're often expected to keep things running smoothly. But when we're sleep deprived, even simple decisions can feel overwhelming, and you're more likely to make poor choices, whether it's grabbing fast food instead of cooking a meal, right? Or snapping at your partner, or letting self-care slide because you're just too tired to engage, right? Here's where prioritizing sleep becomes a game changer. When your brain is well rested, you can make clear, confident decisions that benefit not only you, but everyone around you. You're sharper, you're more present, and you're able to handle the challenges of the day with more grace and resilience. And it's not just for adults either. Kids and teens who don't get enough sleep due to early school start times or overstimulation at night face big challenges in school. Their ability to focus, remember, their studies and their lessons and perform academically is deeply impacted by sleep, and that cycle continues. We all know what burnout feels like. That moment when you're completely done. Burnout is real, especially in high-stress professions and fast-paced lifestyles. Whether you're a working mom, managing a household, or you're just navigating the craziness of life, the pressure can feel constant. And guess what? Sleep is one of the most powerful tools that we have to fight burnout, but it's often the first thing we sacrifice when life gets busy. I mean, ladies, sleep is the ultimate form of self-care. It allows you to recharge mentally, emotionally, and physically. And when you prioritize your sleep, you're not just resting your body, you're giving your mind the break it needs to reset. Without it, burnout is inevitable. So if you're feeling that constant mental fatigue creeping in, take a step back and ask yourself, am I sleeping enough? Am I sleeping well? Because sometimes the best way to get back on track is by simply getting some rest. We've all had those nights where our minds just won't shut off. You're replaying conversations, worrying about tomorrow's to-do list, or stuck in this cycle of negative thoughts. Lack of sleep makes you more prone to rumination. That's where your brain gets stuck in a loop of overthinking and makes anxiety and depression worse. It's a vicious cycle. The less sleep you get, the more anxious or down you feel. And the worse you feel, the harder it is to sleep. Breaking this cycle is hard, but focusing on your sleep is one of the most effective ways to start turning things around. Good sleep supports a clearer, more balanced mind, making it easier to manage stress and to feel more in control of your thoughts. So, ladies, bottom line, sleep is a non-negotiable when it comes to our mental health. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity, and it's time to start treating it like one. If you're struggling with anxiety or depression, or you just feel overwhelmed, I want you to ask yourself, am I giving my body and mind the rest that it needs? I want you to take action in your own life, whether it's creating a bedtime routine, setting boundaries around screen time, or learning to say no so you can prioritize your space for rest. But also, I want you to spread the word. I want you to talk to your girlfriends, your coworkers, your family. Let's be sleep evangelists together, because when we start taking our sleep seriously, everything else starts to fall into place. And when we apply this information to minority communities, right, because as a Latina woman, this is a very important thing to me, we see it to be even more prevalent, as when you add in systemic challenges like economic inequality, higher stress levels, and fewer resources for mental health, it becomes a perfect storm. Sleep deprivation only deepens the divide for us. Many minority populations live in environments where high levels of noise, light pollution, and safety concerns make it harder to get consistent quality sleep. For example, communities with inadequate urban planning often have poorly insulated homes, streetlights that can disrupt circadian rhythms and increase nighttime noise, all of which can contribute to poor sleep health. I know where I live in my area, we're actually close to train tracks, and regardless of wearing my earplugs and, having a sound machine and so forth, some nights when they're leaning on that horn, it's waking me up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and there isn't anything that I can do. So one of the big things for me is about soundproofing, the bedroom. But this isn't just about your health. Poor sleep impacts everything, from your job performance to your relationships to how you engage with your community. I can't underscore it enough. Sleep isn't just a personal health issue. It's a public health crisis in communities, especially in minority communities. So what can we do about it? Well, first, we need to start treating sleep as a foundation for mental health, not a secondary issue. And on an individual level, it means improving your own sleep habits, as I spoke about, things like sticking to a routine, making your sleep environment more comfortable, and prioritizing sleep as part of your everyday self-care. But more importantly, it means taking the conversation beyond your own bedrooms and into your communities, advocating for better access to sleep health education, pushing for policies that reduce environmental stressors like noise and light pollution, and supporting mental health initiatives that include sleep interventions. We can't have a real mental health movement without sleep as part of it. And this is especially true in minority communities where people are already fighting an uphill battle. In all, it's my recurring theme that there needs to be a call to action. Talk to your family, your friends, your coworkers, and community leaders about the importance of sleep for mental health. Push for changes in your workplace, in schools, and neighborhoods to prioritize mental health with sleep health. You have the power to make the difference, not just for yourself, but for those around you. So let's start the conversation and keep pushing for better sleep as a path to better mental health. Thanks for tuning in to the Doze Podcast with a Z. If this conversation resonated with you, share it with someone else who could benefit from it. And if you've got a story or an idea to share, I would love to hear from you, so drop it in the comments below. Until next time, remember, sleep health is mental health. Let's advocate for what matters most. Sleep well.